Welcome back. So the odd scheduling continues on Saturday. Yep, that's it. 8 games. Check it out. So this is going to be kind of an all-day thing. I'm going to try to do a video with these two being recapped first. Then I can do the other six. Have the power rankings done early by usual standards, and then that should be it for the day. So 8 games, starting with at 10:30 in the morning Pacific. 1:30 p.m. Eastern, which is half an hour later than normal, the Ottawa Senators in against the Nashville Predators. This is the first of two meetings. There's a bunch of teams meeting for the first time tomorrow. The second meeting will be January 9th. That'll be in Ottawa. So for the Sens, they're 10-14-2. The numbers in blue, that's last year's record at this time. Last year at this time, Ottawa was 9-16-1. Not a huge improvement there. 26% on the power play, that's good. 77.1% on the penalty kill, that isn't. Their last 10 games, they're 4-5-1. So that's a problem too. They haven't been trending in the right direction over their last 10. Nashville's 12-10-2. They have been trending in the right direction. They have almost the same record they did last year at this time, where they were 13-10-1. 17.4% on the power play, 78.3% on the penalty kill. Their last 10 games, they are 7-2-1. So pretty solid start to the season for Nashville, considering all of the negativity around their record after the back-to-back wins against San Jose to start the season. So they've bounced back nicely. Then at 2 p.m. Eastern, so 11 a.m. Pacific, half an hour later, Detroit's in against Dallas. First of two meetings, they'll meet again on April 10th. For Detroit, they're 13-8-5. At this point last season, they were 13-10-3. So they've won 13 out of 26 this year. They won 13 out of 26 last year. Their power play, 21.9%. Their penalty kill, 79.7%. So that's adding up to about 101.6. Their last 10 games, they're 6-3-1. On the Dallas side, they're 15-7-5. They were 13-12-2 at this point last year, so much better than the record last year at this time. 25.3% on the power play, 84.3% on the penalty kill. Those special teams numbers are excellent. Their last 10 games, a little shaky at 5-2-3. So they've won 5 of their last 10. They've only lost 2 in regulation in their last 10, but there's been some shaky results in there. Then we fast forward 2.5 hours and we get to Florida in against Tampa. So this is where it gets kind of dicey. During the first intermission of this game, I should have time to review those games. So the Battle of Florida takes place early tomorrow. Means that it's the only game on at that time. That's 1:30 Pacific. October 21st, Tampa Bay won the first meeting 3-2 in overtime. The third and fourth meetings will be in February 6th and February 28th, respectively. On the Florida side, they're 13-10-4. Last year at this time, they were 18-5-4. So they're 5 wins behind where they were last year at this point. 20.6% on the power play, 76.5% on the penalty kill. Both those numbers need to improve. Their last 10 games, they're 4-3-3. So just mediocre all around for Florida. This game against Tampa could be a chance for them to really make a statement. Tampa Bay 16-9-4. Last year at this time, they were 17-5-4. So yeah, overall, they're 16-9-1. They were 17-5-4 last year at this time. I don't know where it came up. They came up with that first 4. Anyways, 28.9% on the power play, 78.7% on the penalty kill. So the penalty kill's a little bit low, but the power play's been excellent. And in their last 10 games, Tampa Bay's 7-3. So we'll see how things go for them. Then we get into the 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific starts. Only 3 games at that time. Starting with Buffalo and Pittsburgh, back-to-back games between these two. November 3rd, Buffalo won 6-3, and tonight, December 9th, Pittsburgh won in overtime 4-3. So this is the rubber match. We'll see if Skinner's in it. Buffalo is 12-13-2, and as mediocre as that is overall, it's better than last year where they were 8-15-4. 28.9% on the power play, 70.7% on the penalty kill. They need to improve the penalty kill number. Last 10 games, they're 5-3-2. So if they continue to play it around the 500 mark, that will help them. On the Pittsburgh side, they're 15-8-4 overall. Last year at this time, they were 14-8-5, so very consistent with Pittsburgh from one year to the next. They're 19.6% on the power play, a little bit low. They're 81.4% on the penalty kill, not too bad. Last 10 games, they are 8-1-1. They've won 4 in a row. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the Calgary Flames and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The first of 2 meetings. They'll meet again on March the 2nd. Calgary's 13-11-3, coming off of a loss Against Columbus, last year at this time, they were 15-6-6. Yeah, they were great last year at this time. 19.8% on the power play, 82% on the penalty kill. Last 10 games, they're 5-4-1. Toronto, on the other hand, they're cruising. 17-5-6. Interestingly enough, last year at this time, they were 18-8-2. So again, their record is not really all that different than it was last year. They were technically, if you want to take those overtime losses and make them just straight losses, they were 18-10. Now they're 17-11. 23.6% on the power play, 80.4% on the penalty kill. Those numbers are good. Last 10 games, they're 8-0-2. So, yeah, they haven't lost in regulation in 13 games now. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between the LA Kings and the Montreal Canadiens. The first of 2 meetings. They'll meet again on March the 2nd as well. There's another one, too, that's going to meet on March the 2nd. March the 2nd must be a busy night. So for the Kings, they're 14-11-4. Last year at this time, they were 13-11-5. So again, their record is very similar. 25.5% of the power play, that's good. The 71.9% of the penalty kill is not. Last 10 games, not great either. 3-4-3. So they're looking to turn things around in against Montreal. If you do not work to beat Montreal hard enough, they will beat you back. So 13-11-2 is the record for Montreal. Last year at this time, 6-17-3. So, yeah, 13 wins compared to 6. That's a nice improvement. Their special team's not great. 16.3% of the power play, which is abysmal. Their penalty kill, 79.8%. So both those numbers need to get better. It's remarkable, considering their goal differential's not good either, that they actually have a decent record. Last 10 games, they're 5-4-1. So Montreal's finding ways to get points and get wins. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific start between Carolina and the New York Islanders. This is one that the Power Rankings Board's really interested in. October, because these two teams are right next to each other. October 28th, the Islanders won 6-2. The third and fourth meetings will be January 21st and April 2nd. Carolina's 14-6-6. This year, or last year at this time, they were, and let me just double check this. I had too many games in there. They were 19-6-1 at this time last year. So they're 5 games off where they were last year. But just 5 points, because all those losses became overtime losses and shootout losses. 17.6% on the power play, not good enough. Neither's the penalty kill at 78.7%. Their last 10 games, they're 4-1-5. One of the most bewildering stat lines you're going to see is a 4-1-5 record. So they've only lost 1 of their last 10 in regulation, but they've also only won 4 of their last 10. And they won't have Sebastian Aho. In against the Islanders, who are 17-11 on the season. Last year at this time, they were 10-12-6. So that's how far ahead they are from last year's pace. 23.8% on the power play, 81.4% on the penalty kill. Their last 10 games, they are 6-4. So coming off of a win tonight over New Jersey, we'll see if on back-to-back games, if they're a little slow off the start, and if Carolina can jump on them, or if the Islanders have that momentum and they can just roll. Then at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, the only late start is Minnesota and Vancouver. So October 20th, it was a 4-3 overtime win for Minnesota. That was the first win of the season for the Wild, I remember. And then on March the 2nd, these teams will meet again. So again, 3 different meetings on March the 2nd that we're going to see tomorrow night. The Wild are 13-11-2. They've lost a few in a row now. They were 19-6-1 at this point last year. So they're a bit off last year's pace. 24.1% on the power play, 78.2% on the penalty kill. And over their last 10, they're now 6-4. So Minnesota's going to look to turn things around against Vancouver, who are 12-12-3, trying to get above 500, NHL 500. But last year at this time, they were 10-15-2. So they were ahead of last year's mark. They are well ahead of last year's mark. 27 points this year. They had 22 points last year at this time. And they're scoring great. Their power play is awesome, 28.1%. Their penalty kill is not. Although it's been better lately. I think they've killed 12 out of 14. They're at 68.7%, which is better than, weren't they down to like 60%? Yeah, it's better not to think about it. Last 10 games, the Vancouver Canucks are 7-3. So they're playing well enough offensively to make up for defensive shortcomings. We'll see if that continues tomorrow. And whether or not Minnesota, who I would assume would start Gustafsson since Fleury started tonight, whether or not they get another good game out of Gustafsson. And of course, for the Canucks, do you go with Martin? Probably. But Delia looked decent too the other night, so we'll see what they do. Let me know your thoughts, your winners, in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And yeah, I'm trying to change things up on the previews here and there. The previews don't perform well at all, really, on the channel, but I know there's a lot of people that like to do the predictions and track that throughout the season. So the previews aren't going anywhere. They will stay on the channel for as long as I have the channel. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for everything. I will talk to you again soon.